Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today we're going to be doing a renovation of actually a build I posted on the channel last week. So before we hop into the renovation portion, I wanted to give you a tour of what we are working with. And of course, if you'd like to see the whole process of me creating this build from scratch, there is a link in the description to the original version. Anyway, the idea behind this house was a tiny home that is in the process of either being built or renovated. So you can see lots of exposed drywall and wood here. There's lots of materials around the place for the sim who is building this space. So we have like a recycling machine, woodworking table, all kinds of materials and wood and stuff around, and lots of cut down lumber. And then inside there are some old appliances that need to be fixed up and lots more of that drywall on all of these walls, some like temporary fixtures for the kitchen, an old couch and stuff in here because the sim who is building the home is living here at the same time. So I have like an air mattress in here, very simple furnishings, and the bathroom is definitely not done with the temporary toilet. So that is the starting point, and then we can jump right on into the renovation. So the first thing I did was clear up a bunch of the junk outside of the home, a lot of the overgrown grass and all of the little details I put down to originally make this place feel like it's a work in progress and a little bit overgrown, and getting rid of some of the tools and stuff over here as well. And at first I wasn't exactly sure who I was going to decorate this home for. I did decide though that it wasn't going to be for the sim who was living here while they were working on it. And as much as everything in my being wanted to make this more of an industrial build, I feel like I always lean industrial as that is one of my favorite styles IRL. So I decided to not do that. And the outside of this has a lot of like orange and black colors to it. However, the inside has a lot more bright light colors. I decided to try and make it kind of colorful on the inside, but still incredibly modern. And I was thinking this was after somebody had moved in and kind of decorated it on their own for their particular style, and I'm really happy with how this one came out. I'm excited for you to see the interior. I think the thumbnail for this video is probably an interior shot just because I thought it was a really dramatic difference between the photos, a really dramatic transformation. But on the outside here, you can see that I have gotten rid of all of the exposed drywall and we have some dark paneling instead. And I'm getting a little bit of a walkway up here and playing around with some more of the terrain paint and plants on this lot. I do use some of the same ones I used before, but I try and make it less overgrown, and I implement a lot of pink flowers a little bit later on, as I end up using a lot of pink and blue on the interior of this house. Anyway, I really hope that you enjoy this build, the renovated version or the original one. Both of them are available right now on the Sims 4 gallery. You can find them under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. You could also find them under the hashtag Gryphi, and that information will also be in the description down below as well. Also, The Sims is having another big sale on the EA app, and I really don't want you to miss out. From now until May 15th, you can score packs for much lower prices. Tons of expansion packs are 50% off, like Growing Together, Horse Ranch, For Rent, Lovestruck, and tons more. And Life and Death is even on sale for 38% off. Plus, there's discounts on game packs and stuff packs as well. And if you do decide to pick something up, please consider using my creator code Gryphi at checkout. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it does help to support me as a creator through a small commission on your purchase. So thank you so much for considering, and thanks to EA for sponsoring this portion of the video. I added a driveway on this build and put down a small car, and then we are going inside and getting rid of anything I think I'm not going to keep. Some of it I wasn't sure, and so it lingers a little bit longer than the rest, but most of it ends up going away. And I actually do end up using these same appliances, the stove and the fridge, but fixed up versions in a different color. So I was happy to keep that. The layout stays pretty much the same. I just update all of the floors and the walls and try and make it feel like it's a finished product, whereas before it was definitely a work in progress. So in the kitchen here, I thought about using these countertops from Home Chef Hustle, but they didn't feel correct in the end, so I actually ended up using some from Dream Home Decorator instead, which I was really pleased with. And here are those appliances coming in. I am going to put them back where they originally were, I'm fairly certain. I, at first, though, have the fridge over here and the stove over on the other side, and I try a couple of different swatches of these counters. So it's a process, but we get there in the end, and I am so glad I stuck with it, because right now everything is just very black and orange, which was something I was really trying not to do, because I tend to fall into that a lot with my more modern homes. So I was glad that I did not stick entirely with that, and that all starts when I end up picking out the curtains that I'm going to put here in the kitchen over that one window. I end up grabbing a blue curtain from Dream Home Decorator, which I think is so, so pretty. So I will be grabbing that here shortly after I get some cabinets up in here as well as our sink. And it really just helps the whole space come together. And I end up using a blue tile in the kitchen as well and in the bathroom. And it just ends up being so friendly and fun. And I've been enjoying so much playing with color lately. I know I've been doing a lot of the color drenched apartments, and y'all have seemed to very much enjoy that. It's been such a blast. But yeah, anyway, we are decorating the counters here. I did get my favorite cutting boards. I also got a plate drying rack, and I end up using a lot of the items from the new kitchen clutter kit. So I should be grabbing the sort of like portable island piece that came with that to get some more storage in here and also insert some more color. I'll be using the blue swatch of this. I think it is so pretty, and it allows me to add some more clutter into the space as well. So just placing that down now, and I believe I get cereal boxes in there. Yeah, I really like that item. I think it's really cute. And I also loved this piece of artwork here that is also from that kit, and it should be moving into the kitchen in a little while instead of on that wall. But first, I am figuring out these shelves up above the stove. These shelves in particular are from the Comfy Gamer kit. And so I put a couple of those up there with some clutter on them. I thought they matched the wall color pretty decently. And I'm grabbing a second one of those so I can add some more clutter. I believe I get possibly some books? No, I get some spices up here and an open cookbook, I think. I just wanted to have some cute clutter and make the space feel lived in, but I didn't want it to feel too busy. Hopefully I achieved that. So just grabbing the last couple pieces to put up on these shelves. And I think on the other side of the kitchen, I do end up hanging up some aprons, but I might not do that till a little bit later. I forget about that part for a little bit. But I do get a plant over here in the corner, and our utensils. I really love that new utensil crock. It is so cute. And then I grabbed some pink flowers here, which really helped to establish the color scheme I want to use throughout the rest of the build. And then here I am just grabbing some curtains. These ones are from Desert Luxe. I use them quite a bit. They're like a sheer curtain that you can connect the rod to be as long as you want. So they're very useful. That brings in some more of that blue color. And I also really wanted to bring in more of this tile across the wall that I have on the exterior, and I also swapped out the doors from the ones I originally had. And then we are working on the entryway, where I made sure to get a fire alarm, our temperature controls, and a burglar alarm, plus a place to grab umbrellas, put down some shoes over here, all your basic like entryway items. I thought it was important to add those. And this little piece of artwork, I really like that one. I believe it's from the Refined Living Room kit. I think it is so pretty. And then we should be moving on into the living room, where I actually ended up using this couch from the, is it the Casanova Cave kit? The Don Lothario kit. I thought it was so pretty. I used it in like this beige swatch, and it's not a couch I've used very often, so I was really excited to. And then I did end up adding a couple of cushions up on it as well, just to add an additional bit of decor and color. I have, I believe, 2 of them stay black, and one ends up being a blue cushion. And I'm going to be getting some bookcases behind here that I think look so beautiful. I haven't grabbed them yet, but they are also from the Refined Living Room kit. So I should be grabbing those shortly and cluttering them up. They are a piece I always forget exists for some reason, but I think they are so stunning. So I cannot wait for you to see that. And then I also grabbed this coffee table here from, I think that one's from Cozy Kitsch. It's one I forget exists. So I am glad I grabbed that. But here are those bookcases I had mentioned. I end up using a very similar wood tone on them that I have on the walls. And it just looks so nice as like a built-in feature behind the couch. And I also really like the lamp over here. And then I just moved the art that I originally had behind the couch. So it's still present in the living room. It's just not a focal point behind the couch. I also wanted to mention, because the bookcases are kind of covered by the couch, they are most likely not functional, so I made sure to put one of the bookshelf items that's just like books on a table on one of the bedside tables in the bedroom, so that you will have a functional bookcase in this house. Anyway, I did want to insert some more of like a pinky cream sort of color into this living room outside of some of the decor on the bookcase, so I did get a couple of these ottomans on the ground, which I will be moving to be in front of the window instead, to make sure that Sims can actually route around this living room. And then I liked the idea of having a frame TV over here, but I didn't want it to be centered on that wall, but I still kind of wanted it to be centered in the room, if that makes sense, or almost. So I decided to actually add one of these little dividers from the Sleek bathroom kit and shove it into the wall, so it kind of extends that area, and the TV is partially on it. I just thought it looked really nice. It gave some extra texture to the space. And then I am just grabbing one last item to put on the coffee table, which is one of my favorite plants in the game. And that's pretty much it for the living room, and we're moving on to this little nook that was created by me adding that extra wall, and I thought this was the perfect spot for a little desk. So there is a computer in this tiny house, which is something I don't always include, but I thought it was a nice opportunity to do so. So I did grab a corkboard and fill that up with postcards. Got a laptop in here and this really pretty pendant light from the bowling stuff pack. And then I believe I get some artwork behind the desk as well, and some books and a plant. It's a pretty simple area, but I really like how it came out. And it's a nice use of like a single tile space. So I was very pleased with that. But the other thing that you might notice is not present on the interior of this build is a dining space. And I do end up adding a dining table on the exterior on the front porch. So there's a place for your Sims to sit down and dine if they don't want to sit at the couch or at the desk, but those are options as well. I don't always include dining spaces in my tiny houses. However, I did include one on the exterior here. Anyway, we are back in the kitchen now. I did add some of those aprons I had mentioned, and now I'm cluttering up one of these shelves with some of these new food containers from the kitchen clutter kit. I think they are so cute. I was really pleased with these, so just changing the swatches of those to get a variety of different ingredients, I guess, and then we are going to start working on the bedroom, which I knew I wanted to use the same curtains from the kitchen. And then immediately I thought of the bed from, I think this one is from Businesses and Hobbies. I might be wrong on that, but it's gorgeous and it has that same blue swatch, so I had to use it. And I paired it with these bedside tables from I think these are Tiny Living, and I used the same lights that I used over the desk space in here. And there is that little bookcase I had mentioned as well. I didn't put anything else on that side because I wanted to make sure it was functional, so it is snapped to a slot. Whereas the other side, I alt-place everything to make it look realistic with things just being thrown about, cluttered up bedside tables, if that makes sense. So just fiddling with that now. And then I got some frames on the wall so you can hang up some photos of your Sims. And then I also have a dresser over here, a mirror, and I believe a plant in the corner. And then I think I just got some more art, and that should be it for the one and only bedroom here. I used these prints here from Cozy Kitsch. And then we are moving on into the bathroom where I have the same tile that I have in the kitchen, but I kept the floor tile the same. And then I'm just getting a different sink and mirror in here. I end up using the mirror from Sleek Bathroom. It is so pretty and kind of like funky or playful. And I thought that that worked nicely with the colors I was using in this build. So pretty happy with that. And of course I had to get a plant in here. I pretty much always have to add some sort of hanging plant in every room. And I believe that one's from Businesses and Hobbies as well. I also got a couple of bathrobes in here, and then a toilet over here with toilet paper and this really pretty piece above it. It is from Tiny Living as well, and I love that piece. I think it looks so nice. But that should be it for the interior other than this little trash can, and we should be working on the front porch. So I first grabbed down this rug. I was thinking it was going to go under the table, but it ends up being more like a welcome mat instead. And I ended up using this really pretty table from, I believe it's called Riviera Retreat. It's one of the kits we have, and it comes in this gorgeous pink swatch, so I decided to use that. And I also continued to work on the landscaping, bringing in some more of those pink flowers to really bring in those colors that I have on the interior. I had so much fun with this. I also moved the trash can so it's not on the front porch anymore, and that's where our mailbox ends up going instead with a little flower above it, and then just going all out with landscaping. I just kept grabbing different plants and moving them around and trying to figure out the best way to lay everything out so that it looks realistic and a little bit overgrown, but definitely not as messy as the original version of this house. And I have to say, I love the interior of this one a lot more, but I think I like the exterior of the original a little bit better because I love that cluttered look. I just love building messy things. And so anytime I create something like that, it's going to have a special place in my heart, and I'm never going to like the renovation as much, but it's so fun to renovate things. And I've been having a blast with it lately. I'm not sure what order things are going out this week because I'm pre-recording a little bit because I have to go and get another oral surgery. I'm not very happy about it, but because of that, I'm not sure the order things are going up, but I did do another base game renovation that I'm so excited to share. So let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see me renovate, either builds I've created on my own like this one, or base game houses, or just any other builds in the game. I would love to hear what you'd like to see. Oh, and before I forget, if you're not already following me on Twitch, there's going to be a link down below. You should probably follow me. I'm going to be taking part in Sims Bingo on Twitch Rivals this week on Friday. Kayla put this all together, and I am so excited and incredibly nervous. So if you'd like to catch me competing in Twitch Rivals Sims Bingo, you know where to find that. Anyway, this build is just about done. Thank you so very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and click that bell to be notified when I upload. And a massive thank you to my YouTube members for all of your support. If you'd like to become a member yourself, you can click the join button below the video or the link in the description. Enjoy the screenshots, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.